Hey, what's up my friend? Kalakanai here, and in this video we're going to talk about how to make your meetings stop sucking the life out of you, right? So before we dive in, make sure that you take a moment to click subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, let me know, what else you'd love to be able to learn so I can create better content for you. Now, let's dive in to making your meetings not suck finally. Let's go. All right, so in this video, I'm gonna cover 3 things that will help you have better meetings, right? Now, I wanna give you some backstory about how it is that I discovered this. See, our business was growing super fast, right? I went from 4 employees to like 60 employees in literally a year. And as a result of that, we just I ended up being in lots of meetings all the time, with meetings with other vendors, meetings with other business owners, meetings within my team, all sorts of things. And before I knew it, all of a sudden it was like my whole week was just meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. And here's the thing, most of those meetings weren't necessarily effective. We were having meetings about meetings, right? And if you've been around in business ownership for any amount of time, you probably know what I mean. And so I decided to dive in and start learning about how to stop making these meetings suck. And by suck, I mean suck the life out of me, right? And I'm gonna give you my top 3 tips about how to make meetings better. And the majority of this is gonna come right from a book called The Modern Meeting. So I will have a link to that somewhere around this video, maybe in the description or something like that. There'll be a link to that book. There'll also be potentially a link to my Facebook group for entrepreneurs where I'm able to help you get more results, get faster results, learn more about how to grow your business and all that. And so 100% free Facebook group, and the conversation there is very rich. So make sure you check out the link in the description for access to that as well. And by the way, while you're doing that, subscribe and drop a comment, okay? All right, so the 3 things that make meetings suck and how to change them. So first, number 1 is the people, okay? So here's the thing that most people make a mistake about when they're having meetings, is we tend to think that the more people that we gather on a particular topic, the better the quality of the decision that we'll be able to make, right? Because, 2 minds are better than 1, right? Or whatever they say. Well, in actuality, based on studies, the more people that you add into a meeting, the longer it takes to come to a decision, 1, and 2, the lower the quality of the decision that was made. True story, right? Kind of explains why our government goes absolutely nowhere year after year, right? Because they're bogged down by bureaucracy. So my point is that most likely one of the things that you're doing is you're adding too many people to the meeting in the first place, and they're contributing their ideas. Those ideas are bogging down the actual decision-making process. And even when a decision is made, it's of a lower quality than if only 1 or 2 or 3 people had been involved in the decision-making process. So the first rule of a meeting is that it only includes the actual stakeholders of that meeting, okay? So if we are gonna have a meeting, it only includes people who have a stake in the decision that is being made, okay? Does not include any ancillary team members, right? There are those people who really, their job is just to do and execute whatever decision we make in the meeting. That's their only job. They should not necessarily be there contributing their thoughts about what we should do, what decision we should be making. So it's stakeholders only those that have a direct stake in that. Then the next thing that we'll talk about is the actual structures. So this is the other thing that a lot of times people make a mistake with, right? So we tend to think that we need a meeting about everything. Typically, when we're starting out in business, it becomes a call after call after call after call, and meetings just become part of the culture. But changing the structure of the meeting will ultimately make it more effective. So there's only 2 types of meetings that we have, okay? We have a collaborative meeting or conflict. So here, we're meeting to either collaborate or conflict, okay? So let me break down what those are. A collaborative meeting means that a decision has already been made. Listen, if you're on your team right now, if you're watching this video, you're probably one of the highest decision makers in the business, if not the business owner itself. Great. You can make decisions without necessarily having everybody gathered around and talking about the decision that needs to be made, right? So either yourself or people around you on your team have decision-making power. Let them make decisions. When we have a collaborative meeting, that means the decision has already been made. We are only meeting to collaborate about how to execute on that decision. So typically, a meeting is about a decision that's already been made by the people whose job it is to make that decision. They've looked over all of the data. They've pored over all of the facts. They've thought about all of the benefits and drawbacks. They've come to a decision. We are collaborating. We're meeting to collaborate on how to execute on that decision. That's it. Okay? The next type of meeting that we have is called a conflict meeting. The conflict meeting is where somebody is saying, hey, I think that this is the right decision to make, but I'm not entirely sure, and I would like to get some other outside opinions. So this is the instance of a meeting that takes place when we're not clear on what the decision should be. So whoever is in charge of making that decision will call the meeting. They will let us know in advance. And there's a whole form that we use around this that we put in our Asana is what we use for project management. I will share that with you in another video. In fact, if that video is up, it may be popping up somewhere around here so that you can learn how to set this up inside your project management system and streamline the communication as well. So the other type of meeting that we'll have is a conflict meeting, and that will be stated up front in the meeting request. That lets us know, oh, okay, so this is going to be about us coming to a decision. The only people invited, again, as I said here, is the person whose job it is to make the decision and anyone who is directly impacted by the decision being made. No other outside hands. We don't collect my entire executive team to get together to talk about a decision that's only going to impact marketing, or a decision that's only going to impact sales, or if it's going to impact sales and operations, we don't invite marketing. They don't have a stake in the decision. Okay? So the less people that we have on a meeting, the faster we're going to come to a decision and the better the quality of that decision is going to be. Those are the rules. And thirdly, the next big one is time, right? So time, meaning that we set a specific time to have the meeting and we stick by that time. Meetings happen on time and they end on time, all right? So one of the things that I discovered right away is just kind of by habit, I started setting up all of my meetings for 1 hour. One day I woke up and I was just a whole calendar full of meetings for an hour. And many of those could have probably been 15 minutes or 30 minutes, but by default, the only way that you could set a meeting with me was to set a whole hour aside. So what I would suggest that you do is take however long that you think that you need to have for that meeting and slice it in half. So as soon as I discovered this and started reading about this, all of my meetings went down to just 30 minutes, period. Right? There would be exceptions if we were going to have an exceptionally long meeting for collaboration or conflict, but most of my meetings went down to 30 minutes. Many went down to 15 minutes, where it's just, hey, let's just trade back and forth this information and get on with the rest of our day, right? Meetings bog down progress. People spend more time on meetings than they, in a lot of businesses, than they do actually doing the shit that they're talking about in the meeting, right? Not effective. So those are the three things. First, let's just recap those. First, the people invited to a meeting should be only the direct stakeholders in the decision that is being made. Two, only have two types of meetings. One is collaborative, meaning a decision's already been made. I'm just disseminating out to the rest of the team the decision that's been made, and we're figuring out how we're going to execute on that. And I'm only bringing the teams or the people that are directly impacted by the decision that's been made. Nobody else. Third, or the other type of meeting, I should say, conflict. If it does come up that, hey, you know, I'm going to need some help making this decision because I'm just not operating with all the information and I'm not quite sure how it's going to impact you or whatever, then great, we will meet for conflict. One person, though, is in charge of guiding that meeting, and it's their job to make the decision. It is not at the end, okay, do we all agree? Everybody who agrees, vote yes. No, it's their job to make a decision. I empower my team members to make decisions. Does that mean that they always make the right decisions? No, it does not mean that. Sometimes we make wrong decisions, but we make those decisions and learn that they're wrong way, way faster than most businesses or most of our competitors are even taking to make a decision, right? So we've made the decision, figured out it was a bad decision, and retracted the decision and made a new decision before my competitor could have the 10 meetings they're having about their one decision that they're trying to make, right? So collaboration and conflict, the only types of meetings that we have. And I'd say that that's 90 to 95% true, right? There are some exceptions, especially if I'm meeting with a vendor from outside of the business, obviously. But even then, only the stakeholders in my business are on that call that are directly impacted by that vendor. And I've already communicated back and forth via email clearly what I want to get out of the meeting, what we need to talk about so that we can condense it down to just getting to the point, right? And then number 3, time. Take however long that you think that you're going to need to have your meetings. Just try this out. Might hurt at first. It's going to feel better in the long run. Take whatever time that you think that you need to have for your meeting and then slice it in half. And then tell the teams and let them know, hey, you show up on time and we end on time. If you're late, you missed out, right? I also tell my team, it's just an extra bonus for you, if you get invited to one of these meetings and you don't actually feel that you are a stakeholder in that decision, then it is your responsibility to reply back and let us know, you know what, I don't think that I'm a stakeholder in this decision that's being made. I'm going to bow out of the meeting, right? The goal is to keep meetings small, tight, and condensed so we can make decisions faster and improve the quality of those decisions being made. So hopefully that gives you some value out of that. And there should be a video around here somewhere, assuming that I've shot it already, right? That will show you how a modern meeting outline that we use inside of Asana to communicate all of the information in advance so that everybody comes to the meeting prepared and we can have all the pre-communication taken care of, and we can just get to the heart of the matter in the meeting. So if you want to see how to do that, then there will be another video somewhere around here. Do that as well. Please take a moment, let me know in the comments, was this valuable at all? Did you learn anything? What else would you like to learn? How else can I help you? Drop a, subscribe to the channel, obviously. That'd be really nice of you. And let me know where how else we can help you. And click like, click share, do all that good stuff. And in the description, make sure you access our Facebook group, assuming that that's open. It might be, depending on when you're watching this. So make sure that you access the Facebook group, and there will be a link to a book that you can read on this topic. Super short read, very condensed, very easy, simple to implement. All right? Hope you got some value out of that, my friend, and I will see you in another video. Subscribe. Just go ahead and subscribe right now. Drop a comment. See you later.